Hi everybody, and welcome back to another video. In this video I'm going to show you how to make a baby's blanket. The stitch that I use is called the Crystal Wave, and it's a beautiful stitch. It's a very textured stitch, and it's a very easy stitch to learn. It's a one row repeat. You can make this as big or as small as you like. And the wool that I have used for this blanket, it's in the Stylecraft range. It's the Bambino range, okay, and it's double knitting yarn, and it's absolutely so soft. It's just beautiful yarn for a newborn baby. It's acrylic, so it can be thrown into the washing machine at a cool wash of 30 degrees, and I used 3.5, maybe 3 3/4 balls. They're 100-gram balls, and there's 200 and where is it? It says 268 meters in a ball. It's double knitting yarn, and I used a 4mm hook. So let me show you the blanket. This is the blanket. Okay, as you can see, it has a lovely texture stitch. I have finished it off with a border of trebles, a treble and 2 chain, and then another border or another row with trebles and a little picot edge on that. You can finish it off with whatever border you like. I thought this was a nice one to try out. The blanket itself measures 35 inches by 25 inches. You can make it as big as you want or as small as you want. This pattern is very adjustable, and as I said, it's the same on both sides. It's a one row repeated pattern, and the wool is really soft. It's beautiful wool to use. So if you're all ready to start, okay, grab your hook, grab your yarn, grab a cuppa, and let's get going. Okay, so the Crystal Wave stitch is worked in multiples of 4. Okay, so that means whatever amount of chain you're going to make sure it can be divided by 4. So for the blanket, I chained 120. For this sample, I'm going to chain, let me see, I think I'll do 40. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. You of course can do as many chains as you like. If you want to make it blanket size, then work away and make the chain of 120 stitch, or chain of 120. So I'll continue making a chain of 40 and come back to you when I'm finished. So now I have my chain of 40 made. And from here, I'm going to work into the 4th chain from the hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm working into this chain here. And I'm going to put 2 treble crochet stitches into this chain. Okay, so yarn around your hook, into the chain, yarn around again and pull through, yarn around and pull through 2, yarn around and pull through 2. That's your first treble and a second treble crochet. Okay. Now you have worked your 2 trebles into your chain. You're now going to skip the next 3 chain. So 1, 2 and 3, and into your 4th one you're going to work a double crochet stitch. So the double crochet stitch is straight into the chain, yarn around and pull through, yarn around again and pull through the 2 loops on your hook. Okay, now from there you're going to work 3 chain, 1, 2 and 3, and you're going to work 3 trebles all into the 4th chain. So you're going to work 3 trebles in here. That's 1, that's 2, all into the same place. That's 3. Then again we're going to skip the next 3 chains, so 1, 2 and 3, and into the 4th one we're going to work our double crochet stitch. Okay, from there we're going to chain up 3, 1, 2 and 3, and then we're going to work 3 treble crochet stitches into where we have worked our chain. So 3 treble crochet stitches, that's 1, back again into the same place, that's 2, and that's 3. So then we're going to skip our next 3 chains, 1, 2 and 3, and into our 4th one we're going to put a double crochet stitch. And that's your pattern, and you're going to repeat that all the way to the end of your row. So depending on how many chains you have made, continue on down to the end of the row, and then I'll tell you what you need to do after that. So I'm just coming down to the last few chains, so I have done a little cluster here, and then I skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and into my last chain I'm going to work my double crochet stitch. And that's your first row of your crystal wave completed. So from here you're going to chain 3 stitches, and then you're going to turn your work. And then you're going to put 2 treble crochet stitches into this first stitch here. And this is the start of the row for every single row. So 1, so your 2 treble crochet stitches are in this first stitch here. Then you're going to go to the 3rd treble crochet stitch of your cluster, and you're going to work a front post double crochet stitch. So if I pull these out a little bit, this part here is your post of your stitch. So we're going to do a front post, which means we're going to go from the front to the back and around again. And we are making a double crochet. So it's yarn over, pull through, yarn over, and pull through 2. Okay. Now from there you're going to work 3 treble stitches, 3 chains, and then you're going to work 3 treble crochet stitches into the chain that you made on the previous row. So you're going to go in underneath that chain. You're not going into the chains stitches themselves, you're going in underneath the chain. So yarn around your hook, in underneath the chain, and this is what gives it the texture. Okay, so 1, yarn around again, That's 2, yarn around again, and that's your third treble crochet stitch. And again we're going to go over to the third treble crochet stitch, and we're going to do a front post. So make sure this wool mightn't have been the best choice of colour, but make sure you're going in between the 2 treble crochet stitches and around the back and out at the front again, and yarn around and pull through, yarn around and pull through 2. Okay, again it's a chain 3, and again we're going to work 3 treble crochet stitches in underneath the chain of the previous row. So that's 1, that's 2, and that's 3. So then we're going to, I like to think of it as pinning this shell down to make it a wave. Front post double crochet stitch, and again chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, and we're going to go into our underneath our chain from our previous round or our previous row with 3 treble crochet stitches. 1, 2, and again we're going to pin this down, go straight over to your treble crochet, your third treble crochet stitch of your cluster, front post double crochet stitch, and that is your repeated row. Okay, so continue on down to the end of your row, and I'll show you what to do when you get to the end. So now I have gotten down to the end. I have worked my 3 treble crochet stitches into my chain of the previous row, and I'm going to do my double crochet stitch just into the 3 chain that you made at the beginning. Okay, so it's just in here, and it's just a double crochet stitch, and that is your second row worked. So again, you start off working with a 3 chain. You're going to turn your work, and from there you're going to work into this stitch here, which is your double crochet stitch with 2 treble crochet stitches. 1, 2. So I have shown you all of these stitches before in previous videos. The only stitch I don't think I've shown you is the front post stitch. So we have worked our 2 treble crochet stitches. We're now going to do the front post double crochet stitch, and it's very easy. It's just from the front. There's also back post actually, which is another stitch, and you go from the back and around. But for this pattern we go from the front and around, and it's a double crochet stitch. So yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and from there you just repeat across the row 3 chain, 3 treble crochet stitches into the chain of the previous row, and 1 front post double crochet stitch into the 3rd crochet stitch of the previous row. Now there's nothing too complicated, but the effect of this pattern is absolutely lovely. So 3 chain, 3 treble crochet stitches, and 1 front post double crochet stitch into the 3rd chain, or into the 3rd treble of the previous row. So I'll continue on down to the end, and again I'll show you how to finish off the end. So I have just completed the last 3 trebles into the chain of the previous row, and again our double crochet is just going into the chain that we made at the beginning. Okay, so it's just into the chain. It's a double crochet stitch, so it's yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. And that's 3 rows now completed, and you'll be able to feel the texture that the stitches have made. This stitch, when you are finished, you will end up with this bumpy row. Okay, so as you can see, the bottom is straight, but the top part is going to be bumpy. So this pattern is a pattern that will need a border. Some stitch patterns you don't need to put a border onto it if you're making a blanket, but definitely this pattern is one that needs a border. So in my next video I'll show you how to straighten out your last row, and also how to put the border like I have made on this blanket, on the Crystal Wave blanket. Okay. So everybody, thanks very much for checking out this video. If you have any comments to make, please drop them down below. If you like this video, give me the thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed already, I'd really appreciate you if you did that. It just means you'll get notifications when I put up another video. So for the minute, happy hooking. Thanks very much. Cheers.